Myself from here, Vice President Daring,
Here.
present, and then Madam Chairman,
Here,
you have a quorum, you have 5.
thank you. So now we're looking at the minutes of October 21st, 2025. Can I have an approval motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, the minutes have been approved for October 21st. Any communications from the board? None? All right, any comments from me? No, not tonight. Any old business, board members? None? Okay, we will continue on. Any new business? Well, we will go on with our meeting. Item 1, P13P P1-1125, the Kendall Property Group petitioner and Lake County Trust Company, trust number 4078, located at 400 West 87th Avenue, requests a preliminary planned unit development approval in a R5 medium-density multifamily residential zoning district on 17.15 acres. Purpose: a luxury multifamily residential development. Okay, who's here to speak for it. Introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Madam President. My name is Jeff Ban. I'm a principal with DVG team, a project development designer and project engineer. I'm also here tonight with Cliff Fleming, who is sitting to my left. Cliff is the manager of trust number 4078. They are the owner. They own 17.15 acres. That is part of this PUD development and was advertised as such for this public hearing. And then, where did Austin go? Okay, Austin is back there. Austin Carmody is the vice president and development manager for this project from the Kendall Property Group. We were before you 2 weeks ago under your workshop meeting, and we presented to you our project, some of the details. We indicated to you that we have submitted over 15 items to be compliant with your PUD ordinance, all technical in nature, and your staff has been reviewing it. In the last couple of days, we have heard that the town and its team has not had a chance to amply and properly and thoroughly look to review all of the documents. They need more time, and so therefore we think that what we ask you to do tonight is to defer our public hearing to the next meeting so that the items that haven't been quite reviewed in its in its entirety will have been reviewed, and we'll have a chance to respond to it. Some of the items include some of the density that's part of this project. This may result in some evaluation with the development team that we might want to reduce the density of the project somewhat. So we need to have some discussions with the town leadership team with regards to that. So I know there's a big crowd here tonight, and they expected to hear a presentation. We're really not ready to make that presentation because we don't know what those comments might change our design, and then our presentation is going to be different. So we want to make sure we give you the right information to make a educated decision. And so we just need more time to spend with your staff and your administrative leadership so that we can get the project right. So.
No. You called for this meeting this evening.
You're out of order.
Okay, out of order.
He's out of order.
Out of order.
He's trying to have a meeting with you without us.
Out of order. He
That's
will
what he
not
wants.
meet with
Not
you
to have
without
to
us.
face us.
Out of order. He will definitely not meet with us without you. Believe you me. Now, this is news to me. You just want to defer it to another day.
That's what we'd like to do, and it's not to avoid being in front of you. We want to be in front.
Yes, it is.
No, you do understand they will be called again, the public.
I understand that, and
Yeah.
we're not trying.
How will we find out? Because I found out about this yesterday from my neighbor. I
Well,
never got any notice in the mail.
you should have gotten something from Sheila. Sheila, did you send out notices?
So we,
Can I ask the board a quick question?
Please wait, out of order. I asked a question. Go on, Sheila.
So we have a legal way in which we advertise to the neighbors, and it is 300 feet away from the property. However, in every development that we have, other neighbors tell other neighbors about it, but legally, when we send out to the county to get the adjacent property owners list, that's who we send it to. Now, I am sure some of you all got that card in the mail. No. Some, I have some cards that was returned to me. So some of you all got that letter in the mail, and that is legal. Indiana is what we advertise to. Now, we have so my office, just to be clear, if you find out anything that you want to see, any plan that you want to have, you come to my office, FOIA requested, and you will get it. There are no secrets in the planning and building department.
So we're responsible for telling our neighbors.
Well, I'm just telling you that we abide by the Indiana law.
The Indiana law says that you need to notify the people in the community. And
J-
if you notify one
No,
or two
not
people,
touching the property.
Joe,
Okay, out of order.
Second.
Mr. Svetnov, our attorney, will answer that question. Go right ahead, please.
As Sheila stated, under Indiana law, the petitioner has to notify adjacent property owners within 300 feet. Anybody outside of that can find out by legal publication notice or anything else. What we're gonna do, hold on, please.
Just a minute, please.
Sheila,
yes,
we're gonna announce the next date of the next meeting, correct?
yes.
And then at the next meeting, petitioner should be ready to go, correct, Mr. Ban?
That is our plan, and we want everyone that's here tonight to be at the December 16th regular meeting of your planning committee.
I think where you're coming from, Mr. Ban, is you want to make sure all the information is projected accurately and correctly
Right.
to the public.
That's
does 300 feet mean across the street? Because the property is on one side of 87, and the houses that we all live in are across the street. So that 300 feet would be from the property that they're trying to use to nothing.
The 300, this is not a question and answer session tonight. I want to tell you, it's within 300 feet. What we're going to do, ma'am, please.
I'm waiting.
No, and I'm trying to answer you, but if you keep interacting with me like this, we're going to have problems.
Right.
So what I'm saying to you is, it's within 300 feet of the property itself.
So it includes the street, 87th Street.
Yes,
We get a listing from the auditor's office. Lake County Auditor provides us a listing, correct, Mr. Mayor?
Correct.
And from that listing, the petitioner goes ahead and notifies everybody. So that's where the 300 feet comes in.
So the concern is, it's nothing was not that many homes within that 300 feet of that property. So you only went out a little bit on 87, maybe like three homes or 3 towns.
We went out 300 feet, ma'am.
Nothing destined to the 300 feet where they.
Okay, now what are we going to have, a question and answer?
No, we're not gonna have a question and
No.
answer. We're gonna
Okay.
invite everybody back to come in
Yes.
when the plan is projected accurately. And then we're gonna have everybody back to come in and comment on this project.
so.
What is the
Miss-
meeting of the next date,
Mr. Bella.
Sheila?
Mr. Bella,
Oh,
December 16th.
Okay, guys.
hang on, sir.
So,
What constitutes
board members,
300 feet?
300
Is that a
feet,
point? Is that from the
a
center?
300-foot radius around the property.
That's 300 feet from the outer
and
boundary.
that's how all projects are done, guys. There's nothing special for this one. But let me just address the board, March, if I may, real quick. These are my constituents, right?
Yeah.
So the things, what happen is, there's misinformation being put in our mailboxes throughout the neighborhood. And what's happening is, there's a lot of concern about this information, but a lot of it's not accurate. I shared this with Sheila, right, and with Mr. Pettit, and also with the developers. And I think that what the residents are here about tonight is to get answers to these questions, not necessarily about anything else you're doing. They came out tonight, they're here, and if we can beg with the board just to maybe listen to some questions, if you guys promise not to repeat questions, so don't ask the same question over and over, maybe we can get a few answers. Just for so many minutes, would that be okay, Madam Chair?
Yes. I would say it would be okay for a few people to ask a couple
Okay.
questions. Our attorney
Okay,
will
hold on.
answer them.
Hold on, are
It
we
was supposed to be
taking,
public comment.
are we taking public comment? And then are we taking it in and closing it off tonight, President? Or what are we doing?
Well, they're asking for a deferral, so it has to be opened up again, obviously.
Right.
All right, if we
That's what kinda-
do this by ordinance, you have to raise your hand. You cannot shout questions from the floor.
You gotta come up here.
That will not be tolerated. You will come to the podium, state your name and address. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments or pose questions. Everybody gets the same 3 minutes. That's Indiana planning law. That's also our town ordinance.
It's under our civility ordinance.
Madam President, if I could make a couple comments, because I spoke with Mr. Bell about this, and I want the residents to know, I'm in Ward 6, I'm on the other side of Broadway. And the reason I brought this to Rick's attention is at the workshop last time, I had a development proposed in my ward, in back of Merrillville High School, all the way along I-65 to 73rd Avenue. They want to put in 313 apartments, dumping them onto 2-lane 73rd Avenue. So you can understand where I'm coming from. I've also experienced, and we've stood by it, if you know where Noble Flats is in Broadfield, the property that they're building on could have allowed 450 apartment units by our ordinance. They're only building 276. What I brought up to my colleagues last time is a number of years ago, and good or bad, how you look at me, I've been on the council 22 years. And in the first couple of years, we changed our R4 and R5 zoning requirements. It used to be 10 units to the acre and 15 units to the acre. The town took it down to 7 and 10. So if this proposal is in R5 and he has 10 units to the acre, if he follows that guideline, it's going to have to come down, Cliff, to about 170 units, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm telling my guys, to be fair, on the north side of 73rd Avenue, the exact same thing. I'm going to be a stickler to enforce that 10 units to the acre. So whatever that does to the project, I defer to Mr. Bella, but that's my planning background. I've been a planner since 1987. So I think I know, and I've sat on this commission for about 21 years. So I've seen a lot of petitions in my day. So that's why Rick wanted me to say a couple of comments. And I think, guys, we really need to stick to those ratios moving forward with these apartment developments that are coming in.
Yes, sir.
7 units or 10 units, depending on what the underlying zoning is doing. Now, we do have some that are under construction. As you know, there's stuff at Liberty Estates that's being built right now by Redwood. Don Weiss is building things that were previously approved, but now we've gotten these 2 somewhat controversial developments that we need to take a hard, strong look at, not only for the residents in Rick's area, but the people that are going to be in my area. And Brian, I know you've got some family over there on Carolina Place in my area that we're going to have to take a look at and decide what do we want to do. And I will refresh everyone's memory, again, going back in history, when I first got on the council, there was a time where we had a moratorium on duplexes. So, you know, it's not without, I guess, our ability, Joe, that, you know, how we handle some of these land uses.
Well, Sean, it's just like I told the gentleman last week that proposed the one on 73rd. The preamble of our PUD ordinance, and for those of you that have never worked with a PUD, it allows a developer to change the ordinance itself. It allows the town to find a benefit to making smaller frontage or a different form of entrance or whatever the case may be. It allows us to work within our ordinance structure, but give relief in some places and get something back in the other. The preamble says that a PUD will only be granted when there is a demonstrable benefit to the town and its residents, period. We do not have to give a PUD. If they go with straight zoning, they have to live with the zoning they've got. But if they're going for a PUD, it's a give and take. It's what is the benefit? Are they gonna put in a park? Are they gonna beautify a previously, blighted wetland? Anything with engineering? I mean, it allows the town flexibility as well as the developer. So Sean is right, you know, we're getting to the point now where we're getting so many developments with high density that we need to take a long, hard look at that density and stick closer to what the ordinance is, even for a PUD. So with that said,
Okay,
Joe, this is not the true public hearing. This is a
informal. hearing.
informal hearing requested by the town council president.
We're gonna take public comment tonight,
Okay,
make that part of the record, but we'll leave it open
okay.
so that we can take more public comment at the next presentation as well.
Okay,
Very
with
good.
this public
Thank you.
comment, Counselor, do they each have 2-3 minutes or what? 1
They
minute?
have
3 minutes.
Maximum of 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Yep.
Non-repetitive statements.
Okay,
Yeah.
So what we want to do is make sure they're non-repetitive, non-defamatory, and just issues about the project itself.
sure. Okay, we will start with an informal.
Madam Chairman.
Public comment. Now, who
Madam
wants-
Chairman,
Madam Chairman, I just want to say for the record that Ms. Chandler Felton is present tonight.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Leon.
Got to do it right.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we will start with the informal public hearing.
We have a list.
And please go up to that little podium there so everybody could hear you.
go ahead
Okay.
and recognize.
And state your name and address.
Good evening, all. My name is Lloyd Smith. I am a Merrillville resident, 8565 Pierce Place, single-family subdivision. I've been real estate appraiser, Section 8 inspector, and I'm not biased. I've been out here 10 years. It's grown to where they had to put a stop sign on 86th Street. Safety, community, peace. It is a very peaceful community. It is a pretty safe community. I don't want to bash PUDs, but I've seen them. I've seen what they turn into, and I've seen the residents or the residue that's left when they're not properly managed. So I just hope I'm available to be at the next meeting on the 16th. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment, and that's,
My name is Jan Stoller. I live at 8717 Monroe Street. I have some concerns. I've got a whole list of them I can hand to each one of these bullet points. Living right off of 87th Street, I do not see that street as being wide enough to put a left turn lane in for anybody coming from west to east for ingress or egress out of this planned development, especially with its high density. Also, trying to get down and get off of 87th Street onto Broadway, turning north, is just an accident waiting to happen because of all the cross-traffic coming out of that hospital area. I would rather see the ingress and egress coming off of 86th Street, which has already been widened and redeveloped. That should be able to handle that traffic flow much better than 87th Street ever would. I also see a lack of services on our side of the city. I'd like to see a fire station put in someplace, probably on 93rd or on Merrillville Road in that area, to serve this new high density, if it's going in, or even medium density development, as well as to serve all of the apartments that are coming in along 93rd in Merrillville. I also see a lack of parks, playgrounds, and activities for children who reside through our community. There has been very little development in that area. So I don't know what you're going to do about getting these kids something to do, someplace to play. You're talking about having them cross the street. One of the things in the plan is that this apartment complex would be putting in a clubhouse and a playground area. Would that be for the community at large, or would that be restricted to only the residents of this new complex? I'd like to see answers to those questions. An area that I don't know how much city council has to do with, but our mail delivery is abysmal.
That's everywhere in Merrillville,
On
sir.
Mondays, quite often we don't get any mail delivery. Other days of the week, it's not uncommon for us to get mail at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. I don't know if you can address that or not, but if you're talking about putting in even another 100, 150 units, what's that going to do to our mail delivery? As the other gentleman just spoke, when we moved in here about 6 years ago, it was a nice, quiet, peaceful community. If anything is going to go up, I'd like to see it be more in the neighborhood of condominiums or duplexes, where people take ownership, take pride in ownership, and care for the residents. Apartments are more transient, and I do not want to live in a community with a lot of transient people. I'd like the stability of getting to know the neighbors. And quite a few of us, even if we don't know each other, we live in a community where we stop, we wave to each other. And if you start putting in 200, even 200 apartments, you're talking 400 to 600 people living in there, and you lose that cohesiveness of people maintaining their property. That's about all I've got planned to say.
Thank you.
My name's Leanna Cartwright. I live at 8673 Van Buren Street. So just by telling you my address, I guess you can tell that this complex would be in my backyard. It would butt right up to my backyard. Our neighborhood right now, as others have said, is calm and peaceful and safe. I don't ever have to worry if I have a package delivered to my front door that it's not going to be there when I get home from work. Our neighborhood is also built of people who are blue-collar workers, nurses, teachers, stay-at-home moms, a lot of veterans, retirees. So I feel like an apartment complex, I don't care what the density is of it, an apartment complex is going to completely change our neighborhood. And I also believe that it's going to completely decrease our property value. And I've only been there for 3 years, and I don't have enough equity in my home. And with our economy right now, I'm not in a position where I can move right now. So I'm pretty much begging you to look at it as if it was your backyard and decide if you would want that in your backyard, if your vote would be different if it was your backyard. So please take that into consideration. And don't sacrifice our beautiful, calm, peaceful neighborhood for some money in the coffers or whatever.
My name is Alita Stoller. I live at 8717 Monroe. Mr. Bella, you are well aware of me because you and I have had way too many conversations in the past few years. My concerns match those of my neighbors, but I also want to know what's going to happen in that community when they start laying cement, when the erosion starts, where the floodwater's going to go. Theoretically, it'll go into the little pond that's there, but that pond can't hold it. So what it's going to do is it's going to come across the street. It's going to come across 87th Street, and it's going to flood your neighborhood and mine because I'm 2 doors away. I have a crawl space. And are you going to pay to have that sealed if there's leakage from the flooding, from the water pouring in? And what about the environmental impact? There's a lot of wildlife that lives over there. We sit and we watch the deer and the other animals that live over there, the flora, the fauna. And has anybody done a study to see what might be the endangered species that live over there? What are they going to do to the animals, to the birds, to the insects that we all enjoy? We understand that progress needs to happen. We understand that the builders want to make some money. But we live here. We don't need this kind of density. They're talking about 200 units. That's 400 cars. 2 cars to a unit driving into this neighborhood. We cannot handle it. We don't have the infrastructure there for the floodwaters or anything else. Please, think about this. I get that they want to build. I get that they want to make, as I said, make money. But it does not have to be this dense. Mr. Bella and I have talked about a walking path around that little lake for 6 years now. It would be a major asset to the community. But with this building, what damage is going to be done at the same time? Please, think this through carefully. Think about, as this other lady said, if you lived there, what would you want? How would you want your mother? Next door to me, on both sides, one lady is 101 years old, living a lovely life, thoroughly independent. On the other side are people in their late 90s. They enjoy their peace and their quiet and their friendly neighbors. Who's going to speak for them and the destruction of that calm that they've lived in since our development went in? Think about your mother.
I'm Susan Scout, and I live at 467 West 89th Place. Monroe dead ends into my driveway, so it's a little, maybe more than 300 feet, which is why I didn't get notified. But there is, like, in my opinion, there was already a ton of traffic on 87th. People fly up and down that road. They don't stop at the stop sign that's there. Many years ago, I had a dog that got loose, and he was killed on 87th because someone hit him. I have 2 dogs now, and I was able to put up a fence, and I mean, my dogs have excellent recall, but with 400 or more extra cars, when I was looking for a house 21 years ago, I looked at the townhomes off of 93rd. I didn't buy there because there was an apartment complex right next door. The last thing I want is for another apartment complex to go up across the street. It's a bad idea. It's bad for our neighborhood, and I just hope you take that into consideration, and please do not let them build anything there.
Good evening. I'm speaking on behalf of my parents, CL and Annie Wright. They live at 8703 Monroe. My neighbor, as she so eloquently spoke, that's a quiet, peaceful retirement neighborhood. My parents moved there 15 years ago. They're now 97 and 96. They live on the corner, so they will be greatly affected because they live on the corner of Monroe where they're talking about the entrance. My dad is a 3-year ex-POW, Korean War, and he loves that quiet neighborhood. He's safe there. My siblings and I, we're comfortable knowing that they're safe there, and we would like to keep it the same. Anytime you bring in different apartment complexes, the neighborhood is going to change. It's going to change. I don't care if they're luxury apartments. It's going to change. And I just stand on their behalf and ask that you deny this request for an apartment at that location. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Matt Herjack. I live at 84-6 87th Avenue, I guess you could say. I know we're going to have an additional meeting for public to speak at, but in the preliminary, I'd like you guys to think and consider in the rehabilitation center that is catty-corner to it and what that construction costs would, or noise and things would do for them. I'm actually a union carpenter, so I make a living building things, so I'm all for building it, obviously, just not in the density that they're speaking in. I'm also concerned for the additional traffic and would like that to be taken in consideration, not to be repeating myself, It's actually more for the concern of the Methodist Hospital. The ambulances use our 87th Avenue as a main traffic to get to that hospital quite often. So additional cars are gonna end up causing slower traffic for them ambulances. We can have further discussion at the other one, but for some preliminary thoughts, that would be what I would say.
My name is Pat Robinson. I live in Hunters Glen. My concern is I only see one pond. Is there no, I don't see any detention ponds here. And we have a serious problem. When we get some serious rains, it comes from there through Phase 3 of Hunters Glen over to our side. I live on the pond, and I see that pond really rises. That pond is in my backyard. And if the drains that are supposed to let the water keep going north are clogged, it becomes a problem. So I would just like you, if you approve this thing for no matter how many units are there, if you'll keep in mind that this definitely needs some drainage ponds, some detention ponds.
Mario Morrow, I live at 8625 Van Buren. This project is literally in my backyard. 9 years ago when I bought there, I found a fantastic town and an awesome neighborhood. I've never bought a place in my life. I was a renter for 30 years. I know how people like that rent, they come and go, they don't care. We do not need this. You want to approve homes, condos, or even businesses, okay, fine. But people that are going to come and go, they're not going to care about the town. They have no interest. We have a vested interest in this neighborhood. Yeah, you're going to put in enough units to where it's going to double the number of people going up and down 87th. These people are flying up and down that street, completely ignoring the stop sign. This is going to cause way too much trouble, ruin our property values, and make me wonder if I want to stay.
Folks, we're making a lot of statements. They're very repetitive. Do you have specific questions so the developer can jot those down? Okay, that's what we need, Gary.
Mr. Bella?
One quick question. What about police and fire protection?
What about it? I don't know.
Well, we're understaffed now with the police department. So is the city planning on hiring more officers so that we can have better protection where we are?
So that rehab, we got 25, 30 people walking down 87th Street to do their exercises or whatever they do. Now you're gonna talk about putting apartments, really, with druggies and people that are going through rehab? That's not right. I live at 8742 Van Buren, at that street sign.
Let's let him.
Well.
He's up here.
Good go? Okay. I live on 89th Avenue. My name's Stan Sawinski, and I've got a lot of whiskers in this town. I moved in 32 years ago when Westwood subdivision was a farm. And I sympathize with all of these people, and I'm here to tell you right now that when I moved out to Merrillville Road was a 2-lane highway with oaks and maples all down from the area where Myers is, that wasn't there, all the way to 93rd. I came home from work one day and there wasn't a tree left. They turned it into an expressway from US 30 to Crown Point. We don't need any more apartments. I don't care if this guy wants to build 10 apartments in 4 buildings. We don't need any more apartments. Merrillville Road has got apartments, units that are stacked up, 18 or 20 units to a building. There are 6 buildings. And when the people get their trash picked up, the wind, when the guys dump the basket that they have into the back of the truck, even though it's in an enclosed area, wind takes it, I've watched that farm field on 93rd Avenue turn into a plastic bag catch-all. You drive down Merrillville Road across from Meyer, I feel bad for the old couple that lives there because there's garbage, plastic, everything. They work their butt off trying to keep the place clean. When you go down 86th Avenue West, how many apartments do you want to build? And all this guy wants to make money and the town wants to make money. You're not fooling me. And here's the deal. The police department was going to be understaffed. You're going to have to hire more police. You're going to have to get more police cars. And you're going to say, oh, well, it's going to be bringing in the taxes. You're not putting a fire station on 93rd. There's no place to put it. But you are going to build another fire station someplace eventually. And how many millions of dollars are you going to reap out of the taxes to pay for that fire station? This is a mistake. The wildlife, when I moved out, I used to see a pheasant in my backyard on the field. I haven't seen a pheasant in 15, 20 years now. I saw deer out in the field. Deer don't run out in the open. And the only reason you're doing that is because you're chasing them all out of the area. I've got skunk. I've got raccoons that show up now. And with all the development on Broadway, I've even got blue jays in my trees now. This is a mistake. You don't need to develop that area. But I understand it's a big land grab. We don't want to live in an area as dense as Chicago. I moved out here to be away in the country out of Hammond on 165th, 2 blocks west of Calumet Avenue. I know what insane traffic is. And this is what you're going to turn it into. 87th is a racetrack. They run the stop signs, cruise through them. You put an officer there, well, you can only do it for so long. And you're going to give me the excuse, well, we need to have the officers out for more important things. Drive down US 30. You watch people driving like maniacs, and that's the way 87th is now. And it's going to get worse because people coming from the businesses, the hospital, and all of that's developed there, they don't want to drive down the insane US 30. They're going to take any shortcut they can.
Okay, sir, it's well over 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'd like to just jump in.
Madam President.
Hang on.
What is it, John Pettit?
A couple things for the audience. Number one, it's been brought up a couple times. We are building a new fire station in the 9300 block of Colorado Street. It's part of a $33 million bond issue that the Redevelopment Commission floated with all the warehouses that happen to be in my ward along Mississippi, I-65 and Merrillville. They're paying the debt service on that with their taxes. That's number one. Number two, point of clarification so everyone understands this process. Tonight they're asking for a PUD, preliminary PUD. If it were approved, they would have to come back to the Plan Commission for final planned unit development approval, and then it goes to the town council for a council vote. A PUD in Indiana is considered a zone change. So right now they have R5 multifamily zoning right now, but they're asking for a zone change. Here's the important fact, and I don't want to put thoughts into the petitioners' heads, but it's a fact of life. Right now, they are a permitted use on that land as we speak right now, and Brian alluded to it. They could come in, pull this petition, and file for a subdivision petition and subdivide the property and build the apartments on those individual lots. And we're going to be hard pressed to turn them down. If we do turn them down, they have an opportunity to file litigation against the town and sue us against the zoning and the comprehensive plan. You know what that means? That means a settlement is a judgment bond that we all as taxpayers are going to have to pay. And it has happened in town before. Right, Rick? So these land use decisions are extremely critical. Believe me, I understand what you guys are saying. As I said, I'm going to hear it from my residents up on 73rd and Carolina Place if these guys come through with the other project. But I just want you guys to know everything before we, any other questions. I did want to address the fire station, Rick, that has been brought up.
And Sean, ma'am, not from the audience, okay? Ma'am, I think some context might help here, and Rick also said it. Questions, we need definite questions. Yes, there are problems in every community. And if you've got problems with police, take it to the police commission. If you've got problems with fire, take it to the fire commission. If you've got problems with stormwater, take it to the stormwater board. This is not the forum for that. What we do here is we look at petitions and our engineers go through it to make sure that the stormwater guidelines in our ordinance book are followed, to make sure that the ordinances are followed to the letter. The big problem is the property that you're all living on, the developer pulled that back in the 90s. Okay, the original approvals for your development were from the 1990s. The piece of property that these gentlemen own was approved in the 1990s. And Sean said it, if they've got R5 zoning, we've got to find, there's just virtually, if they pull their petition and build R5, highest zoning, which was given in the 90s when they purchased the property, if we are to turn it down, they're just going to sue us. They'll get a nice paycheck from the town of Merrillville out of the taxes, and basically they'll build it anyway with, protections from engineering, with protections from stormwater, but they can build on that land.
Yep.
See, this is the problem. I've been in town 54 years, okay? My wife's been here for 67 years. And when all of the developers came through, when it was still, before it was the town of Merrillville, the county gave out a lot of zoning to the farmers. Hey, my son owns 20 acres in the middle of this 100, give him some of that R5 zoning. He wants to build an apartment over there. And the county went along with it because it was a rural community. When Merrillville formed in 71, basically the early town councils, the early planning commissions, had to pick up the pieces from that. But a lot of developers bought a lot of land in town with deer, with birds. I've got the same thing across from me. We lost an entire subdivision of wildlife where I live. And it's just a fact of life. If they've bought the land, if they've got the zoning, you've got to find concrete reasons to say yes or no. If you say no out of hand, just because I like looking at wildlife, I like planting 70 trees on my property, that doesn't mean that I can turn them down if they stick to the zoning book.
If they follow the rule.
Okay.
So I have a question, Martin, probably for Sheila. If they don't do a PUD, well, how many apartments can they build right now by just coming to your office and getting a building permit and not even going through the town anymore? It's zoned R5.
But they
It's
need
been
a,
R5
they need a
for
subdivision,
What
Rick.
is the exact zoning, Sheila?
Yeah,
It's zoned,
R5.
it's zoned R5.
They can build 170 units right now, 17 acres times 10 units to the acre, but they're gonna have to subdivide the property.
Right.
It's a permitted use right now,
That's, okay.
Absolutely.
but they're gonna have to subdivide the
We're asking.
property.
But there was a second half to that question.
And what was it?
Did they propose?
210 right now.
210.
They're at 210.
They're not building on the wetlands. They're protecting the wetlands.
You don't get 17 acres to do the math.
It's a cumulative effect. They can't build on the wetlands, but it's all part of the parcel. They own the entire parcel.
So they can add that 7 acres to their building number allotted?
Yep.
That's, okay. And then my other question is for you, sir, just based on what you were saying, it's gonna be apartments there no matter what, right?
Unless somebody comes in and rezones the property. We don't know. Now, the other thing I was gonna bring up and confirm with Sheila is, if I'm not mistaken, Sheila, our zoning ordinance cascade. In other words, an R5 zoning district also allows R4 uses, R3 uses, R2 uses, and R1 uses.
Ladies and gentlemen, please no side conversations. so
Just
that everybody
like
can
our
hear what
commercials
questions
are
and answers.
cascading. So when you get up to the higher zoning, the C3 highway commercial has 175 uses, but you could also do C2 and C1 uses in the C3. It's called cascading. So I think, one gentleman was in the audience, I think the gentleman in the plaid shirt asked about duplexes and single-family. That is also, I think, Sheila, a permitted use
It's a
in
permitted
the
use in
R5.
R5.
So they
Mixed-
could change the plan and put up the duplexes. There was a lady that was from Hunter's Glen that we had approved for Craig Van Proyen. Same thing. I think Craig had R3 zoning.
He went straight
So
R3.
we have 5 different residential zoning districts. R1 and R2 are single-family detached. The difference is the size of the lots in those 2 districts. R3 is 2 to 4 family, R4 is the multifamily, and R5 is the multifamily on the densities I explained earlier. So we've got 5 residential zoning districts in Merrillville right now.
So do we have any recourse whatsoever? If they want to build apartments there, they're going to be able to build apartments there no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So we have no recourse at all?
Tell them to consult.
Yeah, we can't give legal advice.
can't.
That's, between you and your attorneys, I mean, that's beyond the scope of what the plan commission can do.
As help from the town.
This is not really a question and answer session.
I thought
It's
they
really
said
an
we could ask the
information.
questions.
It's an information session. So what we're doing is we're taking in your comments.
I'm Kimberly Perry. I reside at 8743 Harrison Street. I'm a resident for over 20-plus years there. I would just like to be notified, since I do live beyond the 300 feet, in which you notify, our whole community. I am a local realtor. I'm a veteran. I love our community. It's very peaceful with the children, the elderly, everybody walk, like other people have said, everybody's friendly. We're safe. We love our neighborhood. Even with being a realtor, I don't suggest a large apartment complex, more duplexes or condos, maybe a few, just like what's already there. Like I said, I live in the last set of homes before you get to Merrillville Road, and I just don't think it's a great idea.
So, ma'am, I will leave a piece of paper out for those people who would like to be notified for the next meeting on the 16th, and I'll put you something in the mail to remind you of the meeting.
Then can it go for all of us that live beyond 300 feet?
All you have to do is put your name and address on here, and I will send you a notice in the mail.
Could you let us know when the next meeting is now?
December 16th at 6:30. Yes, ma'am.
Plan Commission members, there's been a lot of discussion about the land use and the philosophy of what the neighborhood wants, and we understand their concerns. Just as a point of truth, point of clarity, Mr. Fleming, who is the representative of the trust and part of the ownership of the trust, has owned this for over 40 years. It has been zoned, I know, at least R5 since at least 1995, when the original plan was approved for 6-unit buildings. I think there were 21 of them, 21 buildings, 20 of them were 6-unit, 1 was 4 units. So the initial approval in 1995 granted 124 units at that time under the R5 zoning classification at that time. This is 17.15 acres. Cliff owns the land, and the pond is serving the development of Westwood. It's serving Deerfield Center, I believe is the name of the subdivision, the Van Buren location, and a lot of infrastructure was built to service that, to service the existing communities that are out there. Big storm sewer runs through the center of this property that services the whole west side of Deerfield Commons, our project. It also services the Westwood project and drains to the north. That's one of the things that we have been evaluating and working through with the Stormwater Board and the town's Public Works Department is to validate the drainage plan that we've submitted, and we haven't come to an agreement at this point in time. So that's why we want to justify our submittal and be on the same page as your town staff, and we haven't got there. Not that they're disagreeing, they just haven't had a chance to fully analyze our submittal at this point in time. In regards to the units themselves, in terms of their quality, the units, as we presented in the workshop, will be masonry and fiber cement board. It's not vinyl siding. It's a long-term building material that will stand the test of time. The units themselves, there are 15 buildings. I think there's 9 10-unit buildings and then 5 24-unit buildings. The rents are for one-bedrooms in the range of $1,300 to $1,700. And those are buildings, unit sizes of 720 to 779 square feet. There are 2-bedroom units. Their rent will be $1,600 to $2,000 a month. And those sizes range from 973 square feet to 1,065 square feet. 3-bedroom units will be $2,200 a month, and they range in size from 1,280 to 1,302 square feet. Kendall is not, they're an Indiana-based business. They're based out of an Indianapolis suburb. They have been in business since 1988, and their plan and their model of business is to build, develop, and hold, to manage the properties. It is the asset that they are looking to build for their own ownership, not to flip. There's been some suggestion that this is going to be a quick develop, build, and sell. That is not the model that Kendall has. They currently have 15 properties, actually 17 properties under ownership and management, and those have been, many of those have been long-term holds. And they service 3,763 units right now in 4 states, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, and Ohio. So this is a developer that is looking to be a good citizen, to be a good business in this community. And I have represented many apartment projects through many of my career over many decades in a lot of different towns of Northwest Indiana. And I do understand the concerns, but I think the blanket attitude that people in apartments are bad, I think many of us that are standing in this room started our careers, our lives, after moving out of our parents' homes. We lived in an apartment neighborhood. I couldn't afford a house when I was 22 years old and getting my first job out of college from Purdue. I lived in an apartment neighborhood for 3 to 4 years so I can build up my equity so I could move in. And my generation, the American dream was to buy a house. But I can tell you there's another generation behind me that's not their American dream. Their American dream is to travel and to not manage property. Cutting grass every week for me is something I don't mind, but others, so I think there's trends in housing, and we've been seeing that in the work we do throughout all of Northwest Indiana, Lake Porter and LaPorte counties. So I understand the concern. This is change, and whenever you're changing something, it disturbs a lot of us, and it disturbs me. And I guess what I would like to do, and again, I apologize if any of you thought that our asking for deferral was to try to escape you. We don't want to escape you. We want to embrace you. What you have to say about your neighborhood, if this is something the town wants, we want to be the agent that brings both the decision with your neighborhood. We want to make sure that we're doing it in a right way. So we do want to embrace you. And if that embracing is, and the town says we don't want it, we understand that. But and I know you don't want it. So, but from the perspective of some of the truths of here, it's our job as engineers to make sure that everything is finite and it's meeting ordinance. It's making sure it's making sure the infrastructure can handle, and there's capacity in the stormwater, there's capacity in this water and sewer, capacity in electric. All that's our job, and that's what we're doing right now. And the feedback we've gotten so far is we're not ready to make our presentation to you. We want to create more data. We want to make sure that the density issue it needs to be addressed. And we heard some things from you tonight, Sean, that helps give us some of that direction. So we need to go back to the drawing board, not holistically, but certainly taking a look at the plan we have and what modifications we need to make before we make a formal presentation. And again, repeat the date. The next meeting date is December 16th. At 6:30, it's a Tuesday, third Tuesday of the month of December.
Tell us about the park, Jeff. That's a huge
I wrote that down here, and I just, so one of the things that has really kind of been the inspiration for a lot of this project is that pond. And that pond, the property owner has been talking with Rick and the town about creating a public park, a pathway around the pond so we can activate it. Right now, you drive by it, you can't see it. You couldn't tell if what's behind there. So the idea is to try to groom it and create an environment that's natural, but then again, also an environment that creates engagement from humans coming into the pond to see the frogs and to see the insects and whatever else is in there. The other thing is we're talking about how there was some suggestion about needing a community park, not just a walking path, but one of the things that we're trying to do is trying to figure out how on this property we kind of create an area that could maybe even have a playground on it. So that's one of the things that we're looking to try to do.
Well, that's all to do with the stormwater calculations, and that's
sure
what
our
they're
engineers are gonna
working
look
with
over
the engineers on right now.
Right, the attorneys.
Sorry.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
Sorry, Joe.
I'm sure the engineers are gonna review that thoroughly and make sure that there is no flooding issues.
Correct. That project is currently under review by our staff. Matter of fact, I think there's a meeting tomorrow. We have a development team meeting tomorrow, but we've met on it several times already with Mr. Band and his team, so yeah, it'll be fully vetted.
So I guess we're here for any more questions or any more comments. I've tried to address some of the detailed issues that may have been raised regarding the concern of the apartments and the density, but we've got, like I said, some work to do, and that's why we're asking for a deferral to December.
Excuse me, I have a little bronchitis. My name is Sharon Kirby White. I live at 8735 Harrison Street. The communication about this project has been really poor. Now, I understand there was excuse me, the distance, it was like 300 feet or something like that, and you don't notify outside of that scope. I didn't find out about this until this week. And, and it's like, we don't get any communication, so I understand the gentleman owns the property. We have nothing to say. Basically, that's what I'm listening to. He owns it. He can do whatever he wants to do to it. Where do we come in? Where do we fit in?
It's not quite that,
Well, I need somebody to
But
further
because they have
explain
that zoning,
Yeah, we have zoning, but then you also said he owns it. And the zoning, he had several choices under the zoning.
Right.
Correct? It could be 200 apartments or 400 apartments or something else. He had 5 different choices, correct? In
There's
the
5
zoning.
different residential zoning districts, but no, he does not have, if we stick to the 10 units per acre, he doesn't have a choice. It's going to the zoning district is going to dictate the number of units.
Okay. but
That's what he's
all.
asking for. He's asking for us to relax that standard by filing the PUD.
That part I understand, but then, once again, we have nothing to say about it. It's already done. You basically made the decision, and it really doesn't matter if you like it or not, because it's changed.
this development, as I said before, was proposed back in the 90s. Mr. Fleming is the administrator of a trust. The people that were involved in it originally are no longer with us, I believe. Is that correct, Cliff? And when they came in, before your houses were even built, they came in with a plan for that entire area, and whoever was on the council and the plan commissions at that time gave them the zoning based on that plan.
Correct.
The problem is the zoning travels with the land. He can build R5, the highest zoning. He could build R1, because as Sean alluded, it cascades down. Doesn't cascade up. If he had R1 or Ag1, then it's a different story. But because the original developer 30-plus years ago, had this section as R5, you know, it's just what it is. You know, we
And
don't
that's
have
what
to
I'm
grant the PUD.
Okay.
That's, I want to make that clear. If it's demonstrable that it doesn't work for either us or the town or the residents, then we can deny the PUD. But he can then turn around and use his R5 zoning.
He can consult with his attorneys on what he does.
Yeah, and he can consult with his attorneys at that time to figure out what he's gonna do.
And his engineering staff.
Okay, I guess my bottom line is, I'd like more communications, because what I'm hearing is that we really don't have an option.
Well, please make sure you get your name and
Oh, I
address
will.
on Sheila's
I'll
list.
put it on that list, because it's like, you know, it was new to me, and I want to know what's going on in my
Let me
neighborhood.
assure you, this was notified under the publication standards of Indiana law.
I understand.
It was not only notified to the residents in 300 feet, but it was also, there was public notifications given in the newspaper.
It was advertised in the
Well,
newspaper twice.
But you shrug your shoulders, but at
No,
the end of the
but
day, we're
newspapers,
complying with
you
Indiana
know,
law.
we
But
don't
here's the
use
thing,
any
folks.
newspapers.
Here's the thing, and I would ask this of Jeff and Cliff, who I've known a long time. Guys, you two guys, I'm asking you this. I'm not the ward councilman. This is Rick's call. If you were in Ward 6, I would be telling you to go to the Lake County GIS and you notify every property owner between Broadway and Merrillville Road in Westwood Estates and Deerfield Commons. Every single house should get it. Now, I found out from Mr. Bella, which also is illegal, and I don't know who did it, I don't care. Stuff in this little thing in the mailboxes, that's illegal. You can't do that. So you guys need to send a letter. Listen to what these people are saying, Cliff and Jeff. This is about being a good neighbor. I get it. You and I sat and talked with you, Cliff. You know how I feel. But now I'm hearing these taxpayers, these are Rick's constituents, they're not mine, they're not Margie's, they're not Leona's, but they are town residents. So that's my advice, and I will tell you a story. Trammell Crow tried to put up 3 big buildings on that property on 73rd and I-65. And every single person along Carolina Place, including your in-laws, Brian, was notified and came to the meeting because I told Trammell Crow, you got to get these people on board. They didn't want those big buildings. You don't see big buildings on that quadrant of I-65 and 73rd.
Okay.
So we've got to communicate with, I get the law, guys, but now hearing this, you got to communicate with these people. You have to. It's on you. If it costs you a little bit of money, it might be worth it in the long run, guys. You know, it's.
Yep. And for the one gentleman that mentioned the United States Postal Service, believe me, it's everywhere in town. You got to take it up with the postmaster, and I literally live 1 minute away from the post office and get my mail at 7, 8, and 9 o'clock at night.
I will leave this meeting and go to my mailbox to get my mail because that's when it'll be there.
Yeah.
So you guys aren't the only ones.
But it's the United States Postal Service. Town of Merrillville has no control over that whatsoever.
Okay, we will resume on December 16th at 6:30 PM with the developer and all of the petitioners that are here. So please attend, and you will be notified.
Madam President, if I can ask a question on a point of order, Mr. Svetnoff, do we need to have a vote on that technically?
We have to
Make
have
a motion for deferral.
Make a motion for
Okay.
deferral, we'll have a formal vote on that tonight, with no other action.
Only on the deferral, that's all I'm
Only on
asking.
the deferral,
Only on the
we're leaving
deferral.
public comment open.
Okay, I need a motion.
I motioned, Madam President, already.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor for the deferral for Kendall Property Group. Do we need a roll call vote on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, roll call vote.
Mr. Swike,
Yes.
Ms. Chandler Felton,
Aye.
Mr. Pettit,
Yes.
I myself am a yes. Vice President Daring
Yes.
and Chairman Uzelak.
Yes.
That's 6 yeses.
Okay, we have 6 yeses for on the roll call vote for the deferral. And that will take place December 16th at 6:30 PM. So please attend, you are all welcome.
And please, folks, we heard your feelings on this.
Yes,
If you
we
can
have.
meet with your neighbors, talk to Mr. Bella, talk to staff, et cetera, get definite questions that you can ask the developer so that he can answer those questions and reassure you of how this development is gonna be handled.
Really, these sessions are not meant for question and answer.
Right,
These are meant for public comment.
right.
Right.
And then, but if you can get your questions answered by the councilman in charge, Mr. Bella, or staff, please feel free to do so. Because at the end of the day, then that'll cut down on repetitive comments and make sure you get the information needed to make an informed decision. Or at least help us out with an informed decision.
I got one thing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, so anybody out there who wants to receive, notice in the mail, I'm gonna set a couple pieces of paper right outside the door here. Got a couple pens, you can write your name and address, and Sheila's gonna make sure you get those.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you all for attending.
Continuing
on with the agenda, the other business, an amended and complete restatement of development agreement.
You're welcome.
Liberty Estate.
Take care.
Ma'am,
Here,
was you the one who
Randy's in the crowd somewhere.
called me yesterday?
No, I haven't called him.
It's over
I
for
just
them.
found, I just found out yesterday.
what's going on with
We're gonna let everybody
so they keep coming back with the question? Incomplete restatement of development agreement, Liberty Estates. What do you have to say, Mr. Hall?
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Please speak up.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Liberty.
Please go out into the foyer.
Hey, guys.
Go in the foyer.
Tell them to go out the foyer.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got the loudest voice.
I do have the loudest voice, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Leave them out. Go out there. Business. So continue with what you have to say.
Thank you, ma'am. So Liberty Estates, Randy Hall.
Yeah.
First of all, my compliments to your handling of the meeting. I have been through a lot of remonstration in my day, and it's a real pleasure to hear you give the residents their day, but help them understand. So just a side compliment. I'm here to request an amendment, not a restatement, an amendment to the developer agreement. Just 3 business points. Again, if you recall, we started off with Liberty West. We added acreage, which we call Liberty East now. We're at 300 acres. Our number of homes, I apologize, but maybe in the 2,000 unit count, mixed use. We still are proud to be the highest price point in Merrillville in single-family homes. I signed a contract this week for $515, which is, especially with the competition of the largest builders, really pushing it. So we are trying to deliver a quality product in Merrillville. My request is 3 items in terms of amendment. The first is our next phase we hope to start is Phase 8, which is the Radu property to the southeast. It does not physically connect by road to Liberty East. You'll have to connect to it from a curve in the road from 87th Street to get into it. It's over by a church property south of Liberty East.
Yeah.
It's 50 acres, and my request is simply to make it 2 phases instead of 1 phase due to its size. And in fact, I turned in a fee to Ms. Sheila tonight. We'll be coming in front of you shortly with a plan to lay out for Phase 8 and proposing the possible commencement of Phase 1, subject to hopefully a smoothing out of interest rates. So simply a request, because we have phase count in Liberty, I'm requesting to break out Phase 8 into 2 phases. That's all. And it's a financial request, not a change in density or anything else. The second request has to do with the timing of the phases adjacent to Whitcomb Street. We're very excited to work with the town with the changes in Whitcomb Street. It's just hard to identify the exact timing of when traffic will allow the flow there. So we've simply requested an amendment to the start of those phases to time, bless you, to time in with the, what will be allowed by the road construction. And then lastly, looking at my notes here.
Is that for 5, 6, and 7, Randy? We've got bullet point 3.
5, 6, and 7, yes, sir. I might be out of order. I apologize if I'm out of order here.
Thank you.
And the last item is a clarification item. So in the development agreement, which is, obviously it got larger or longer than we wanted, there is a colored depiction in Liberty West of the uses and density. And then independently, there is a regulations spreadsheet that says each parcel what the zoning is. We didn't tie them together. So what you have is a density in the west, but not a clarification as to setbacks and things like that. That'll become important down the road. We simply wanted to tie them together, so we added that labeling into the spreadsheet. You all have that. I think we've been a couple meetings in front of you just per Ms. Sheila to make sure we're doing the right process. Our intention is to go through Plan Commission and City Council just to make sure everyone is up to speed. But other than that, we're continuing to build and trying to deliver a good product. Thank you.
Yes, I have a question,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Hall. Okay, Phase 8, you said Radu property to the southeast.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you saying, 50 acres?
This is a 50-acre parcel that is
Okay.
part of the 300 acres. It's already zoned
Okay,
density-wise. All I'm asking is originally, we're defined in phases. We have, I think, 16 phases in the 300 acres. I'm simply requesting that this phase, which is Phase 8, be an 8A and an 8B. So we don't have to develop all of it at once.
okay, so you're breaking it into 2?
Yes, ma'am. That's it. That's all we're requesting.
All right, what is the board's decision here? Jeff Swiker.
When would this be started then, in the springtime or?
So I've hired the engineers to present Phase 8 shortly. Our first step would obviously be coming in front of you with a layout and such to verify that you approve our consistency in applying what you've already approved. We have plenty of land to build on at the moment, but we're hoping if interest rates drop a little bit, we might take this as our next phase, especially if Whitcomb is under construction. It gives us a break from all the construction traffic.
Leona, you have a comment?
I have a question, I think. What was your reason for breaking it into 2 phases?
Purely financial.
Okay.
It's being that it's 50 acres, it's so large to put that many streets, curbs, infrastructure in at once versus the demand that is available today to build it out. It would be multiple years. We'd like to divide it up into a smaller investment, just to make it practical and so we can move forward.
Okay. Nothing else.
Okay, I want to get a lay of the land here. You've got your property, Whitcomb Street turns into 87th. It then intersects 89th. You've got two homes fronting 87th, the one with the large chain link fence around all the trees, and then the old farmhouse that sits farther back off the road. Then you come over 89th, and then usually folks turn to the south to go by the government complex. There is a hook over there.
That's it.
With the, looks like a couple of outbuildings, and what is listed on the official maps as Chase Street.
Yes,
89th runs past the church property.
Yes.
And becomes Chase Street. So
That's
you're
it.
talking about making an entrance to this new section off of that 89th and Chase.
yes, and it is part of the consideration of the engineers in their planning on that curve that turns northwest to, like you say, on Chase, south towards the county building. So
Is
that's
there-
part of our global plan.
Is there any plans, or have you talked to Skip or John? I see that 86th comes to a dead end, but it's not a curbed dead end. When they finished off 86th Avenue coming from the east, it just came and became a road to nowhere. Is there a plan to connect that road over?
If I'm understanding you, I do not own the land to connect it. We have, I believe that's east of us, correct? Through the church land, correct?
No. In the subdivision that's already completed from Skip and John's project, going back all those decades, or a couple of decades, 86th is the last road on that property, and it comes to just a dead end.
Do you mind
Sure,
if I
sure.
come look so I can speak correctly?
Okay.
Is that Waterford, Brian?
Yeah, I think it's Waterford.
Waterford?
Yeah. See, here's 86, it comes in dead ends here off of,
Yes, that is connecting.
Okay, that will connect over, okay, that's a good connection. Legally, as far as the, looking at the paperwork for the changes that he's looking, or the amendments that he's looking for, it's all the i's and t's are dotted and
I've
crossed?
already reviewed everything. Everything's been approved by me. That's why it's in front of you right now.
Perfect, thank you.
To answer your question, that does connect to that phase.
That will connect, that's
Yes,
great.
sir.
Okay,
I hope so.
okay,
I'm
any
done, Madam
comments,
Chairman.
Chris Mellon? or
No, they've all
questions?
been asked and answered.
Okay, very good. Sean Pettit, what do you have?
Motion to approve, Madam President.
Very good.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second here on the floor for this amended and complete restatement, or on the development agreement with Liberty Estates.
One quick thing, Madam President.
What?
Does this go to the council, Joe, after tonight?
It's gonna go to the council.
All right, clarification.
Okay,
Thank
do
you.
I need a roll call vote for this too?
Definitely.
Okay, Mr. Mellon, please, Secretary, take the roll call.
Mr. Swike,
Yes.
Ms. Chandler Felton,
Aye.
Mr. Pettit,
Aye.
I myself am a yes. Vice President Daring,
Yes?
and Madam Chairman Uzelak.
Yes.
That's 6 yeses.
Okay, we have 6 yeses, so it's all been approved, Mr. Hall, and thank you for attending.
Thank you for your time.
As
Thank you,
always.
Randy.
Good night.
Motion to adjourn unless there's any other
Second.
business.
Motion to adjourn.
Third.
Aye.
Fourth.
Second.
Aye.
Can you and Mr.
Okay.
Uselak
Joe,
say
all
day, all day.